Hey guys, what's going on? So I've been kind of kicking around to you guys that I was going to review this truck for a while. This is the Redcat Clawback 1/5 scale rock crawler trail truck. For you guys that aren't maybe really familiar with a 1/5 scale crawler or have never seen one of these, because you're not going to find these in hobby shops a lot. This is my TRX4 Defender. You can see, if we go all the way back to back, or maybe sit this one on the roof, it's a big truck compared to your standard 10th scale rock crawlers. So before we get too deep into this video, I'm not saying this is a bad truck, I'm not saying it's a great truck, but I will tell you this. If you're looking for something that crawls like a 10th scale or crawls that good, this ain't it. It's awesome, don't get me wrong. I've got to get some more trail time on it, but we'll talk a little bit about that here in a few minutes. I'm trying not to let this video run too long, but we're going to say some good things, we're going to say some bad things about this truck. And I'm going to try to put out some information for you guys that is very hard to find on YouTube. There's not a lot of stone cold information on this truck. So this truck retails at about $600. I got a great deal on this. A hobby shop that I visit a lot had one of these, had it for a while. I bought this truck for $500. I think for $500 this thing's a steal. I think for $600, take it or leave it. I think it could be a little better for that extra $100. That's kind of my make it or break it, and we'll talk about why. So let's get into the radio first off. So the radio is nice, takes 4 AA's. It's nothing fancy. It's got a small screen here. It's kind of got a foam wheel, but it's cheap foam. But it's not bad. It's pretty. I will say this: the reverse on this is way too touchy. But a lot of RTRs are like that. Take it or leave it. It works pretty well. The range is good on it. All the controls on it are nice. The one control in here I do like is it's really easy to change steering modes on this. Steering modes on this are forward steer only. You have 4-wheel steer, so your standard, 4-wheel steering. This thing will turn tighter than any 10th scale out there unless it's got 4-wheel steer. This thing has rear steer only, so you can just steer with the back wheels, or you can do the crab. Where both wheels steer the same direction, so the truck sort of moves on does the crab walk. So that's kind of cool, and they're really easy to cycle through by just hitting the steering mode button. But other than that, guys, this is actually a pretty good RTR crawler radio. I can't knock it for its radio. It actually works really well. So let's talk about the truck. This is a motor on axle, so it's plastic axles, 550 cans on these. The drawback to these, and we're going to talk about, we'll allude to this more in a minute, but there's not a ton of upgrades you can get. I'm actually talking to a couple different companies about doing some upgrades on this. But the problem with the motors is you can't put anything super high torque in it because it's a plastic axle, plastic housing, plastic gears. You can put metal gears in these, but I have heard people talk, if you over torque these, you're going to snap axles like crazy. Now there is some stuff out there, it's hard to find, but there is some stuff about putting Yeti XL axles in there and modding them to work, but it still is not a fix-all. I wish someone would make metal axles for these. Maybe the aftermarket will catch up if these get really popular. I would hope that, and maybe we can get some better stuff out of it. Wheels and tires. The wheels and tires aren't bad. They're pretty soft. Should offer some pretty good grip. These things out of the box on rocks didn't grip for nothing. They didn't grip for snot. They're getting better as I drive it. I've been driving it on asphalt, a little bit in gravel, trying to sort of wear these tires in. I may sipe these tires, take a razor blade and cut these to make them a little more grippy, because there's not a ton of companies out there making wheels and tires for these. The axles on these, I want to say Redcat told me they're like 23.5 mil. They're some oddball size, so you could mod this, I'm sure, crazy, but out of the box, you're not going to find a lot of aftermarket wheels and tires for this. Sorry, they're just not out there. I've yet to find anything, and I have done hours of internet scouring trying to find some. Red beadlock rings on these is pretty cool. Aluminum. The wheels are pretty nice. They feel pretty good. Like I said, they could be a little bigger, but take that or leave it. Two-piece body. The body is bolted together. I'm going to take my body apart and actually hot glue it together to make it a little stronger. This body is relatively thin. We'll get that off here in a minute and take a look at it. Got a nice roof rack on it. You got an area you could put a light bar here. We'll talk about that toward the end. We'll talk about some accessories for this. You've got a full-size spare back here that you can use. So it looks pretty cool back here on the rack and everything like that. So, like I said, guys, dual motor on axle. This thing comes with I want to say it's a 3,000 milliamp nickel metal hydride battery with a banana plug connector. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, I will tell you this, as the factory charger that comes as one of those plug-in-the-wall, piece of junk chargers, throw that thing in the garbage. At worst, get you a $50 hobby-grade charger. Just do it. You won't burn your freaking house down. It charges faster. It's better for your battery. Or do what I did and convert to Lipo. I am running a 2S Lipo in this. I've got a 5,000 milliamp battery and it works great. I am running, I'll show you this in a second, we'll take the body off. I'm running a banana to Dean's connector. So my Lipos with the Dean's connector just works fine. Just plug it right into this. And I just use that same Dean's connector to charge with my Venom Pro Duo charger and it works out great. This ESC in this is technically in the book, if you read it, rated for 3S. I would not run 3S on this truck. I put a 3S in it, took it out and drove it, and yes, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot quicker. It steers faster and all that, but I can tell you right now, if you don't want to break these axles, you don't want to break gears, you don't want to mangle this truck up, don't run it on 3S because you're talking of almost 50% more power than this truck was designed for. You might get away with it for a while, but I'm not going to do it. I would love to do it, but I'm not going to. And I have run this truck for almost 2 hours on a 5,000 milliamp battery, and my Lipo alarm had yet to go off on my little Lipo alarms I use. So let's go ahead and get the body off, take a look at it here. Now, one other thing here, guys, I will show you. So right here, when these mount to the side, the body clips are really easy to pop off. When I first got this truck, I rolled it a couple times playing around with it. I did lose a bunch of body clips. Luckily, I buy these things by the 100. Now, what you need to do when you get this truck out of the box is these running boards right here. It doesn't really stick out past the tire, but you want to go out like 2 clicks just where it's almost to the edge of the tire right here. There's bolts right here in the bottom, little 2 mil Allens. You're going to want to take those out, and you're going to want to pull these out so that these clips, I've already got all the body clips out, but these body clips will hit this bar, and if this thing rolls and it hits this side right here and it flicks up, it's going to pop your body clip out. So I've got these out now to where it doesn't hit the side of the footboard right here because it was hitting right here where it rolls up, right here on the side of the side step. So if you get these out of the way, you won't have any problem with your body clips hitting. Let's go ahead and pull the body. It clips in at 4 spots on the side, and then your standard mounts on the top. The body is relatively heavy, especially the spare tire mount on it. Let's go ahead and flip it over. Take a look at the inside here. So right here is where your 2-piece kind of setup is. It is kind of made together. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to glue this, make it a little stronger. This is very flexible back here and everywhere else. What I'm probably going to do, I'm not going to do the sheetrock tape and all that. What I'm probably going to do is flex seal the inside of this, kind of rubber coat the inside. I think it's going to make it a little bit better. Other than that, so let's take a look at the inside of the truck here. Okay, guys, so we got the body off here. Reposition the camera, and hopefully those lights, I got the overhead light on, so hopefully it's not washing this out and it looks okay. Still trying to play around with my lighting setup here and make sure everything works all right. So factory, when you get this out of the box, make sure you tighten all these cross members up. You got twin aluminum bars here for your frame. Very, very simple, but very well built. I will give Redcat credit. They did really good on this. Your bumpers can move in and out. You'll have to install the bumpers on it. The bumpers are a little weak, but it's not like you're bashing. This is not a basher. This is a crawler. So you got 3 holes right up here in the front. You're going to find this is where your stock shock location is, and that is way too stiff. Even right here, this feels stiff, but when you actually drive this truck, as you can see, it's got tons of body roll to it. Tons of articulation. I mean, I can almost twist this thing in half. But, you know, when you get it driving, it will flip over, especially if it's in four-wheel steering and it's on any of an incline. I moved these back. There's 3 holes back here. I moved it into the first hole here and put these shocks at a big angle. It works really well. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and, instead of this hole right here, I'm actually going to drill a hole midways, or maybe a quarter of the way up, and try right there. I may drill a hole here and a hole here. I'm going to drill some more relief holes here, and that's going to give me some more shock mounting locations to fine-tune my suspension. Now, you could probably change some of the oil and stuff in this, but I think it's more shock location. You got nice bar links and everything here. Now, another thing I did, guys, was I went ahead and I unhooked the wires coming from the back and the front and rerouted them. They were sort of just laying everywhere. I didn't like how they routed through. They were going to catch. So I took some zip ties, routed it up this link, and routed it in. And then my ESC was a little loose from the factory, so I just put another little piece of 3M tape in there to hold my ESC in. I routed the rear wires back a little more, and I think it made the truck look a little better, because up here I had a big bundle of wires and it just didn't look good. So I went ahead and did that. And also, like I said, guys, these are really flimsy until you get the body on there, so I wouldn't really worry about that. And like I said, make sure you move those out. You can't get aluminum battery tray for this. I don't think it's warranted. It looks really cool if you want it to look cool. You can get some front links up here to different aluminum match parts up here in the front. That's pretty cool. If I didn't say before, dual steering servos. They are kind of weak. This thing has very weak steering servos. You could probably put some different ones in there. If you're going to do that, I would probably change out the ESC, stuff like that. But like I said, guys, you're not going to be able to put a huge motors in this stuff. So honestly, in my opinion, I just deal with the damn servos. It is what it is. Like I said, I am running this Dean's to Banana connector adapter to adapt my battery over. You got a couple of body clips here holding your battery hold down. You can pull pieces of foam under that. You can fit a pretty darn big battery. Like I said, I'm running a 5,000 milliamp battery, 2S Lipo in this, and it works out really well. Back end is almost identical to the front, other than the rear body mount. The holes for your suspension are identical. I'm going to do the same thing back here. Modify the mounts. Same linkage setup, same motor, steering, servo setup. You guys can kind of see the everything like that. And I'll pop some pictures here. We'll kind of do a montage at the end for it. Grab the body one more time to show you guys some accessory things you can do to this truck. You can pick up, so we talked about the light bar, the little pods right here for your light bar. You can buy one of the 16 LED kits for the Gen 8, the Gen 8 International Scout. And you can cut the wires and lengthen them. You can wire those up to this, and you can actually have full lights in. There's enough lights to do the light bar, all that. Just you have to hot glue them in and get a body reamer, kind of mod them. So that's doable. I want to say is it CCXRC did that? I can't remember now. I have to go back and look. I'll try to annotate down below if I can find out the video I saw where he did that, and it worked out really well. The only other thing, guys, and it's not really in the book, it's kind of hard to find, if you're going to run a Lipo in this, you have to move the little jumper on the ESC, as most of them do. You'll have to move it over. The book shows you where the jumper goes. It's not explicitly saying, hey, do this if you're going to run a Lipo, but go ahead and pop that jumper over. Put it on Lipo if you're going to run that instead of nickel metal. And I run, like I said, I don't trust these ESCs. I run Lipo alarms that hooks into the balance port, and it alarms a big alarm, like for RC planes. When your Lipo reaches a specific voltage, I tell it. Other than that, this thing's pretty cool. As a rock crawler, it's subpar. It's a 5th scale. It's hard to find 5th scale rock crawlers. RC 4-wheel drive made a really, really sweet one called the Killer Crawler, but it's insanely expensive. They've discontinued it. It's hopefully these pick up. I want to see the fifth scale crawler scene explode. I really like it. I think it's cool, and it's not just because I love fifth scales. I think it's a really cool concept. I think this is a really cool trail truck, and that's what I bought it for. I didn't buy it to rock crawl with. I bought it to trail run with. I bought it for, if I go to the local park and stuff and go on hiking and go on some of the, the little nature trails and stuff around here, I can take this truck, run it on those, and kind of use it as a trail rig. That's what I want to do with it, and that's why I bought it. And for me, it makes sense. For you, it may not. If you're a crawler guy, you might not want to buy this truck. If you're a trail truck guy, if you really like trail runs and stuff like that, I think you would love this truck. If you guys got any questions, please leave them down below. I'd be more than happy to try to answer them for you. I will put up some more videos and maybe some running vids on this truck as we get it out more and I play with it a little more, maybe mod the tires, and we'll see how that works out. We'll keep making some videos on this to see how it's going in the future months. But we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.